Pedro's here, and I'm going to show you what he's doing and what we're going to do with it. I brought my clippers. So Pedro's our yard guy, and what's really common is basically for all this material is going to be thrown away. But with sustainable living, we're going to take all this material and it's going to go back into the system. So let's videotape and show you what he's doing. Here's Pedro working it, and he's cutting these big branches on it. Be careful, Pedro. How about a string? How about a rope? I'll pull rope. Yeah. We're gonna get a rope. So all these trunks I'm gonna use as posts, and all this material is gonna go into the bed. So he's gonna try to push it down here. This is a 65-year-old yard worker. There he goes. Look at that, professionally done without hitting the fence. He's got it. So he's gonna pull all these big trunks down, and then we're gonna cut them to size the way I want them, and they're gonna become posts for it. So the whole idea here is to basically be sustainable. Now, this tree here I kept up. Now, what I'm gonna turn this tree into is basically a habitat for social bees by simply drilling it into. It's also a lagoon, which means it puts nitrogen into the soil. So I'm going to basically turn it into a place for carpenter bees and other things. Maybe even put a water basin around the base of it. Do some cool things with it. You watch later. So here is some more stuff that we cut down yesterday. What I'm going to do is strip off the branches. Now these are some. There's a post in here. Here's some larger posts. And what am I going to use these for? And here's some more. These are more like siding for weaving. All the sticks and stuff I'm letting basically die in this big mound over here. And let me show you what we're going to do next. Ultimately, this is what another bed we're going to build. All right, this is a compost heap / raised bed of my design. It goes down 1 meter into the ground, 1.5 meters deep. It's full of the tree limbs and everything else that I didn't want, like the huge trunks. And we're keeping all the goodness, the years of goodness that is taken for these trees to develop. Instead of taking them off the land, we're putting them back into the land. We're taking the energy of the sun and putting it back in. Now here's some exciting things again that we can do is simply by using a drill, I can turn these posts into basically solitary bee habitat for mason bees, carpenter bees, other types of bees that live. By keeping, mud and stuff down here. Here's a mud pit and water and stuff. They've got building material for it. So every one of these posts can ultimately become a bee habitat for solitary bees. Not only that, this entire bed can become a habitat for lizards and other things that can crawl up on it, live in it. And what we're doing is creating a little micro habitat for beneficiary, animals that are going to reproduce and go out there and take care of a lot of the pests and stuff, like the brown beetles and other things that we don't want in the yard. Again, here is a compost heap that is also set up as a habitat for lizards. There's lots of stones that can heat up. There's actually a little watering dish. That little brown thing, that little blue thing in there is actually a watering dish that can capture a little water. They can drink out of that. And again, I already have this seeded with an alligator lizard, a really big one that you can see the pictures, and also a couple salamanders that I find. So as I'm moving stones and I discover these precious little animals that are basically slated for extinction because of our habitat destruction, we're creating a little micro zoo here for them. My name is Michael Trout, and I'm sharing with you the idea of sustainable living here at Foundups House in Silicon Valley. Now, you can come to Foundups House in Silicon Valley. You can stay here. You can learn from me. You can be part of this. You can launch your own Foundup House. And we are basically like a sustainable living Uber, right? That anyone can participate in. And we are a cross between basically a permaculture homestead. This is our permaculture homestead. We're going to have aquaponics, hydroponics system that usually isn't part of permaculture. That's why we say sustainable living. So we'll be growing probably 20 massive tanks full of fish. That's all going to have a closed system for growing with grow lights on top and everything else. They're going to be set up. I'm going to run a whole bunch in there. Here's a part of the aquaponics system that I already, for demo, I want to use hydrostatic, something that the Romans developed using water pressure, to actually develop a system, if I can, that basically uses gravity and basically pressure to force the circulation of water. I've never done that. It's kind of be a fun little can we do it. I've seen videos of water basically being moved around in really cool ways using hydrostatic. The opportunity is put more. We can put 5 more hydroponic systems along this path here, under the, and we got a lot more space around the side. I want you to imagine this house here full of solar panels. Now these solar panels are basically built by us, installed by us. They're operated on open source technology. Everything in this house is going to be operated in open source. What it means is this, is that we don't have any proprietary rights. We can develop them. Each house becomes basically a way to prototype, to test, to improve current open source technologies, open hardware, open farming, all of these things in an urban setting. So I want you to imagine this. Imagine basically within 5 to 10 years, we completely transform this house. It has a 0 footprint. We create our own water, we create our own power, we have all our food and fish, and should anything happen, we're fine. But the vision is bigger than this. And we also create our own things through fabrication labs where we have 3D printers and CNC routers and everything that's part of this. So we have folks living here, folks coming here, folks doing their Foundups, folks doing their startups, entrepreneurs moving through. Imagine how the neighbors are going to respond. Hey, I want your setup. No problem. We can install it at a fraction of the cost of the competition, right? And the cool thing is the people that are here doing it ultimately become the labor force. Hey, you want to earn some extra money? Do you want to learn how to do this? Yeah, sure. So we have ultimately a labor source that we can found up things, found up solutions. That's Foundups. A Foundup has many meanings. To found up a solution, find the people you want at Foundups. Find the solutions. And what we become really is the new business model for the collaborative economy. You see, the startup really doesn't work, and right now they're trying to mesh the startup in, and yeah, you've got Uber and some other folks who are making billions of dollars off the collaborative system. Now what I've developed is the business model for collaborative system that doesn't currently exist anywhere else. Foundups is that model. And it uses holacracy as part of the decentralized management system. It transforms these homes, it provides the education, the training, and everything else. So if you want to learn more, go to foundups.com, click on house, or go to foundupshouse.com. Come here, spend the night here, spend a weekend here, spend a month here. It's open, right? Provided you can get a bed.